So today I'm going to talk about customer experience. Customer experience is arguably one of the most important pieces that we can focus on in a real estate transaction. And honestly, I think it's something that isn't always talked about. We talk about the importance of getting the client and the importance of nurturing our clients, but really making sure that they have a super good customer experience is equally as important as all of that, because when they feel good, during the transaction, and when we can really help them to have a good experience, they're going to work with us again, refer us, all of the things. So a few things with customer experience that I really focus on is, the first thing is focusing on who you're talking to. How you communicate with them and their communication style is really important. So basics, right, is finding out what is their communication style. Are they a texter? Do they like phone calls? Figuring that out. Another, deeper communication piece that I really focus on is what is their communication style as a person, holistically? One of the ways that helps me to kind of figure out how people's personality styles are is I have been using something called the DISC profile. Now, there's no right or wrong way to figure out how people communicate. You don't need a personality assessment, and honestly, there are so many, and none of them are bad, right? It all are tools to help you be successful in communicating with others. But something that I've used is the DISC profile. The DISC is an acronym. It stands for D is direct, I is influence, S is steady, and C is conscientiousness. And knowing the DISC profile has helped me immensely. And it's not like I have to give that test to everyone, because I have figured out what each of those 4 traits mean and how to identify them in my clients. So for example, if somebody is a D personality, they're very direct, they're driven, and they want their information fast. D personalities talk really, really fast. So you can tell someone's D if they're direct and they're talking very fast. I is influence. These are the clients that are going to talk about that they walk into the house and they say, oh, this just feels like home. I see where the Christmas tree is over here, and there's just good vibes in here. Those are I personalities. So when you're talking to an I, you talk with feeling, right? If you give an I a spreadsheet, they're gonna be like, thanks, or focus on the square footage or anything like that. That's okay, but you wanna focus on feeling. So I focus on how I talk to people. S is steady. These are the people that are going to take a little longer to make that decision. And if you are a D personality or a fast personality, actively slowing down for those S's when you even speak. Sometimes S's will take a minute to think about something. So if you're a fast personality, I focus on not interrupting them. And finally, conscientiousness is really the people that are the data people. They want to know the price per square foot. They want to know the square footage. They want to give them the data. So when you're talking to a C personality, you're talking quick and numbers. So we all are a combination of those traits. And so focusing on how you communicate with your client, how they want to be communicated with, is all gonna be part of that process. Another thing I focus on is always and constant communication. Not to the point where I'm bugging them, but I heard something from a speaker named Terry Watson, and I've talked about this before, but it is the best surprise is no surprise. When we don't have enough information as a human, we often will make the information up in our head. For example, let's say you're waiting on an inspection, right? And you're waiting on them. You have nothing in your control. If you don't check in with your client, and your client is it's a stressful situation, they might fill in the gaps for the information they're missing. For example, those sellers are just dragging their feet. They're just making it so we have less time to negotiate, or some story that isn't accurate, right? But if you fill in the gaps, communicate effectively with your clients and say, hey, sounds like they're talking this over. They're looking into options. They're gonna get back to us in a day or so. Keep waiting. I appreciate your patience. That keeps that story at bay. So keep that constant communication up so that they have the best possible experience. Lastly, the way we communicate with people and the way people want to be communicated with is incredibly important. Figure out how your clients want to be communicated with. Figure out how you communicate so that you know how you come across so that you can tweak accordingly. And don't be afraid to ask your client how they would like to be communicated with. Keep the communication up all the time and you will do so great in any transaction and your customer experience will be exceptional.